The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, where every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hello. What's up,
Jimmy
everybody?
Star.
Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We have a great show for you guys today. We not only do we have Hollywood royalty, we also have music royalty coming on, and so it's going to be a great show. We're very excited about it. Before we get started, let me introduce you to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hey, everybody, it's going to be a great show. I met Morgan years ago. Actually, I forgot that I met her. And a good friend of mine in New York said, "Don't you remember meeting her? You told me all about it years ago." I said, I meet so many people. How do I remember? But in my memory now, I'm starting to think of it. I remember that she had the most wonderful head of hair and the most beautiful face. Her face was like ivory, chiseled ivory. Now we have to find out where we met. That's like, I went to a restaurant one day, had lunch, and Joan Collins was at the table next to me. Do you think I know the name of the restaurant? Oh, I know it was on 3rd in Los Angeles, and it was upstairs on the balcony where we ate. I have eaten in so many restaurants, and I see so many celebrities because when, we hung out in those days, we all hung out together. Crowd used to go up to San Angelo's Pizzeria in Beverly Glen, and that's where all the soapies, big stars of Dynasty and all the other stars hung out. And I went up there with my very best friends, Diane Parkinson and Janice Bennington from The Price is Right. And we knew San Pietro, I think it was called, because Peter, I think, went off to marry, what's her name from Wheel of Fortune?
Vanna White.
Vanna White. If my things are all correct, I don't remember. But anyway, we all used to drive up to Beverly Glen, and we hid behind bushes that were put on the patio so that the drive-bys couldn't see who they were. But there was always, that beautiful girl, I forgot her name, from one of those, woman with beautiful eye makeup, the blonde. A big star from one of those shows of the day, used to hang out there all the time. Why can't I remember her name? It was so sweet. Anyway, I either met Morgan at the candy store or at or maybe at one of the restaurants in town. I may have been with Lee Winkler when I met her, or I may have been with Diane Parkinson and Jan Pennington, or I may have been with Lee Davis. I was with somebody, but I don't remember where. Awful. Some people would kill to meet Morgan. They would remember it forever. I'm trying hard. Like I said, in our business, we all meet quickly. I don't think she remembers me either. I'm going to ask her, you know who I am? She's going to say, no way. So, I don't feel bad. But I remembered her. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. My God, she was all in white. I remember seeing her like a vision, glaring, bright white, with that beautiful light blonde hair and that porcelain face. A beautiful girl. Beautiful.
Anyway, let's say hi to our chat room because our chat room is filling up. Hello, chat room. We want to say hi. Teresa Saban is in Florida. Don Hinton is in California. Show her your watch.
Oh, it's a 40s watch.
49.
49, and it's a beautiful shade of water blue and chartreuse. It goes with my parrots, the shirt I have on.
They love your shirt.
Yeah.
Eileen is in the chat room. Hey, Eileen.
Hi, Eileen. How are you, my dear?
Teresa Saban. Artist Miss Kim is in the chat room. And Boomer Mays, the football player, has joined us. And I know there's a lot more people, but it's not going fast enough. I can't see, so they've already disappeared. But we got a lot of fun show. Backpack John is in the show today. And another person, I forgot who. Let's just look real quick.
I intend to ask Morgan a question. I asked all of the stars that have been on my TV show, past TV show, Set the Record Straight. what was said about you or printed about you that was not true. And now's your chance to set the record straight, clean it up. And let's see what Morgan has to say about that.
Also, you guys, one of the reasons at World Star PR we're working with the company Fan Room Live, and Morgan is going to be doing a Fan Room live virtual meet and greet, and it is on the Sunday, February 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can go to fanroomlive.com to get tickets for it. She's going to be the star of the day for that day, and she's fabulous, and everybody will want to meet her, especially after you see her on our show. So we want to send.
I wish I could remember what we spoke about, because I remember I was seated and she was standing, and she came over to speak to somebody at our table. Then I was introduced to her, but I was spellbound by her beauty. I mean, I really and truly, this woman is extremely gorgeous in person. Camera gets some of it. But in person, she's got piercing features, that nose, those eyes, those cheekbones. Just a stunning looking, beautiful woman.
She's in one of my favorite TV shows of all time, even though it only made it for one season, but I can't wait to ask her about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But I know I must have said something about, oh my God, you're so beautiful, because I was taken back. And I know all the beauties of Hollywood. Jesus Christ, Jane Russell was my best friend. Who's more beautiful than Jane Russell? No one. I mean, I've been surrounded by beautiful women all of my life, all of my career life. Joan Collins oh yeah, and even the blonde from Dynasty, I knew her. Linda Evans, my daughter and I was going to interview her. We met at a convention center where she was signing pictures. And I said, Linda, do you want to come on my show, set the record straight? And she said, absolutely, Ron. Pay for my airline fare to come down from Washington State. I'll be on your show. And she was just beautiful and charming and sweet. Lovely. I mean, I've met so many. Jimmy said I should write a book. I said, I can't write a book because I don't remember all the people I've met.
If you wrote every part as you were going along, though.
I know. Well, listen, I'm in the business 64 years. You think I remember 64 years? Come on, give me a break. I mean, from New York City to LA, back to New York, back to LA, I went back and forth like a yo-yo.
Let's say hi real quick.
Hi, who?
Angela Joseph is in the chat room. I forgot Angela. How could you ever forget Angela?
I never
Ian
could
Smith
forget
is in the chat room. And Angela did a whole bunch to promote us. We want to give a shout out to Cindy Lady Lake. She says she has to listen on the replay because she had a doctor's appointment or dentist appointment or something.
Okay, good.
And
good.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a lot of beautiful women who are so beautiful on television and pictures, and then you meet them in real life, and they're even more beautiful. So that's the way Carmen Electra was when I met.
Yeah, well, that's how Morgan Fairchild is. Camera sees in.
Oh, she's here too. Let's get her in.
Wait, hang on.
We don't have a lot of time.
Wait, the camera sees Morgan in 2 dimensions. I saw her in 3 dimensions. And in 3 dimensions, she's absolutely the most gorgeous woman in the world.
Let's make sure we can hear her. Hello.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I just heard that lovely compliment. Thank you so much.
All we have is compliments.
The compliment said, Morgan, the compliment said behind your back is the real compliment. I met you years ago. I'm trying to figure out who I was with. I was either with Lee Winkler or the girls from The Price is Right. They were my good friends. I met you somewhere, and I remember you were in white. You wore white, and your hair was outrageous big. I couldn't get over the porcelain features, and I said to myself, oh my
Thank you so much.
No, you're breathtaking in person. The camera does not do it.
Let's do a real intro, though.
Let's do an intro.
All right, everybody.
Let's do an intro.
Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented and stunningly gorgeous Morgan Fairchild. Hello, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
I'm doing so well because you're you're still stunningly beautiful.
And we're gay.
Thank you.
And we're married, so we're not hitting on you.
We're not hitting on you. It's just fabulous how fun you are.
No, really and truly.
This is my co-host, Ron Russell. He's our outrageous man about town.
And before we go any further, I want to invite you. I'm bringing back my old TV show, Set the Record Straight. On that show was Betty Davis, Cliff Robertson, Tippi Hedren, Lauren Bacall, Tony Curtis. The list goes on and on of people I have interviewed over the years because I'm 80 years old and I've been in the business 64 years. So I I knew the oldie ones. I want to invite you to be my first guest when I bring back Set the Record Straight. I would be so honored to have you up there with those celebrities because you are really. I just saw you the other day on YouTube. We plugged in Hotel.
We watched the pilot episode of Hotel.
And you played a prostitute.
You were so fabulous.
I mean, gorgeous is not the word. And I said to myself, there's no money that could ever buy her as a prostitute. That's bad casting. They should have gotten a woman less beautiful because, I mean, you'd have to be $1 million broad for the night.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, bad casting.
You know, I took that because I had the opportunity to work with Betty Davis.
Yes,
and
my friend. She's my buddy.
Yeah. And she kind of like half adopted me. She was so kind and so wonderful and so scary.
I knew Betty very well. I tell everybody, I used to go to parties up at her place on Havenhurst, and she would take a drag on a cigarette and drink scotch at the same time. I thought that was fascinating, how the scotch and the cigarette was just amazing. She was quite a lazy. We tuned in only because Sherry Belafonte is a dear friend.
Yeah, Sherry Belafonte, and so is Lainey Kazana. We saw in the things that they were on it, and then you were on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, and more.
I love both of them. Yeah.
And Lainey Kazana is one of my most, I know Lainey 40-something years, we're very close. I adore Lainey. I adore her. So I was sitting there really in Hollywood heaven. Morgan Fairchild, Lainey Kazan, Sherry Belafonte, of course.
And they've all been on our show now that you're on our show.
and especially that gorgeous, what's his name? Barbara Streisand's husband, what's his name?
Brolin, Jim Brolin.
Oh,
James
God,
Brolin.
Was he beautiful back then? Wow.
And I did Pee-wee's Big Adventure with him too.
Yes.
So Morgan, what's going on now? What's happening? You want to go to work again?
All the time.
Well, not this year because the shutdown. There's just hardly anything going on. But one of the things I'm doing is I'm going to be doing some. I guess you'd call them virtual cons, like Comic Cons. I'm doing 2. I'm doing one for Fan Room Live on February 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And then I'm doing one for Wizard World on February 6th. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And so, I try to stay in touch with fans and stuff over the years. And this year it's been kind of hard. So mostly it's been through Twitter and through Instagram and everything. But, so this is an opportunity to just reach out to people and answer some of the questions they're always asking me online and on Twitter and on Instagram. How did you like working with so-and-so? Or, what color lipstick is that?
So 2 things. Let me help with that. First of all, you guys, if you want to go to Morgan's Fan Room Live, you go to fanroomlive.com and you can get tickets. And for Wizard World, you go to wizardworldvirtual.com and just plug her name in because they all have a bunch of different celebrities coming up. And again, she's for Wizard World. She's on February 6th. And on Fan Room Live, it's Sunday, February 21st. And we have a chat room full of people with about 8 countries represented. So I would like you just to say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello.
Oh, I love that.
Now everybody's waiting patiently for me to ask the big question. Love how Tippi Hedren did this when I interviewed her. You could see it on YouTube. She said, and now Ron Russell's going to ask the most important question in the world. And that question is, what has ever been said about you that is not true? And you want to set that record straight? Do it now, Morgan Fairchild.
And now look, she's got to think about it.
Well, unless they say plenty of crap about me, that's not true.
Listen, there's so many things that have been said that aren't true. It's just hard to narrow it down. I think the main one is that because I play bitches, everybody thinks I am a bitch, but actually I'm this puppy dog from Texas. So, but it's just hard to think of one. I mean, I've had women come up to me in ladies' rooms and accuse me of going out with their boyfriends where I don't know who their boyfriend is, but they apparently caught their boyfriend with some blonde, that he said was me. And she said, okay, she's famous. I'll let it go.
I was having lunch one day on 3rd Avenue, on 3rd Street, like 3rd. And Joan Collins was in the table next to me. And then I got to talking to Joan Collins, and I said, you're really very sweet. You love playing bitches. And she looked at me, she said, it's easy. I am a bitch. And she said, it's easy. I am a bitch. I said, Joan, you're far from a bitch. Joan Collins is one of the nicest, friendliest broads in the world.
Oh,
gorgeous.
she is, and she's
Isn't she
she's a
sweet?
friend. Yeah, she's a friend of mine too. I mean, we've worked together. We did a special back like in '84 called Blondes versus Brunettes, and of course we had shows on at the same time. So you always see everybody at the different events and galas and stuff, and affiliate conventions and stuff. So, but we've been friends for a long time, and she's a wonderful,
She's a
wonderful person.
sweetie. Did you
She
ever
is.
did you ever hang out up at Billy Glenn at San Pietro's Pizzeria with the rest of the soap opera people?
Um, Once in a while I went in there.
I think
Not
I think
not
I
very
met
often, but once in a while.
I think I met you there. That's coming in, and I was with Janice Pennington and Diane Parkinson from The Price is Right. Knew those-
Yes, and I know them both. Yeah.
That's where I met you. We were having pizza. Imagine meeting Morgan
Hang on, I
Fairchild
want to go
having
back though.
pizza.
Hold on. All right. So first of all, you guys, she's followed me on Twitter for many years. You can follow her on Twitter. It's at Morgfair, MorgFair. Her Instagram is Morgan Fairchild, #1 at the end of it. And so I used to be a celebrity clothing designer, and so my favorite things that you've done are all the fashion things. I actually own paper dolls. Like I paid somebody to like record all of them, and I have them all on DVD the entire season because it was like my favorite show. We had Terry Farrell on our show. We've had a bunch of the people from it on our show back in the day. I want you to give me some kind of insight and fans because it's literally my favorite like series TV show ever. I know it did only went one season, but I loved it. So tell us
Thank
something
you, because it's
interesting
my
about
favorite.
paper dolls.
It's my favorite one that I ever did. I love that show. I was just killed when it got canceled.
So was
And
I.
I begged Len Goldberg every time I saw him at any gala in town. I would beg him to redo it. I said, "Hey, I can still play Racine. It doesn't say, how old she's got to be." Model agency head. No, I love that. Well, you want stories? What do you want?
Yeah, give me some kind of a cool story that's not too long since we don't have a lot of time.
I'm sorry, we only have 20 minutes with you.
Wait, go. Let's
Okay.
tell. I
Okay.
wanna tell the story.
Well, so we were going to shoot in New York. It was a 2-hour movie pilot, and we were going to shoot in New York. And I was very excited because one of my hobbies is paleoanthropology, and they were going to have a big paleoanthropology exhibit at the Museum of Natural History. And so Len called me up then and said, "Oh, I just realized you don't have any exterior scenes, so you don't have to go to New York." I said, "Len, you got to put me in something so I can go to New York. I want to go to this I want to see the skulls." He wrote me a scene in. He wrote me a couple of scenes in. So I have one scene where I come outside of the plaza and say, "Where's my limo?" And then I have one with Brenda Vaccaro. We're in the back seat of
another friend of mine, Brenda.
I love Brenda. And we're in the back seat of the limo. I really don't have anything to say. She's chewing me out because her daughter has gotten suspended from Revlon or whatever because she got caught doing coke. And I'm like sitting here, I'm the model agency head, and I'm thinking I did great because I saved her. She didn't get fired. She just got suspended for a while. And she's screaming at me. And so I have nothing to say. So we're driving down, and I'm like, I had gloves, so I'm just like, wait, because Brenda's smoking, and I'm waving. And then when she got out, I kind of ad-libbed and said, I said, "Home, James, and if you can manage to hit Ms. Vaccaro on the way, big points." And they left it in. So I was always like ad-libbing my way through all this stuff. So then I get to go to the museum for the thing, and they've got all these fabulous skulls. It's like if you're into paleoanthropology, it's like first time they've had all the major finds together. So I was very excited to see it. So I'm walking around this big plexiglass square with this very primitive skull in there, big cheekbones, looks like very gorilla looking. And so these two guys are walking around it and saying, "What is that?" Because it had a big ridge on its head, the skull. And they said, "What the hell is that?" And I said, "Well, that's a sagittal crest. And, that you can see where the cheekbones are and the muscles attached up there, and had to attach to that because it's a grinding herbivore." And they looked in there looking at the little cards, and they said, "Where do you see that?" And I said, No, I'm just telling you, that's not here. It should be here, but it's not here. And they said, "Aren't you Morgan Fairchild? How do you know this shit?" So I said, "Hey, it's just one of my hobbies. I'm just telling you what you're looking at."
It really was. It was so my favorite show. Everybody, if you're listening and you can find a way to watch it, it starred Morgan Fairchild, Terry Farrell, Nicholas Sheridan, Brenda Vaccaro, Dak Rambo, Mimi Rogers, and Lloyd Bridges were like the biggest names. It was a great show, especially if you're into modeling and fashion.
I worked with Brenda Vaccaro for 13 weeks on Sarah, a TV show that didn't make it at Universal. She played her in the modern day cowboy girl. I was on a horse for 13 weeks. I was in pain.
Lucky
Brenda
you.
is-
Lucky
Oh, no,
you.
but I had so much.
Better than you than me, honey.
We used to hang out in her dressing room. There's a long story. I've told it before, but
Make it short.
I can't tell it now. Where she was sitting in. No, I can't. It's too long of a story.
That's also
It won't come off right. But anyway, Brenda is a sweetie. She's an Italian girl from Texas, and her parents owned a pizzeria in Texas.
I know. We know each other for decades. I
Yeah.
love her.
You know what? Tell her Ron Russell said he's mad at her because I called her up not long ago, and her husband answered, and he was rude, and he said, Brenda doesn't speak to people anymore. I said, what the hell are you talking about? Put Brenda on, and he hung up on me.
Well, maybe that's why I haven't heard from her in a while.
I think her husband's crazy. I heard he was a big drug.
You know what else?
Big drug
There's
addict.
not a show that you weren't on in the 80s and the 90s and now, because I went on your IMDb and like you're even, except for last year, you're working all the time. One of the shows that, and I'm bringing it up because he's a big Fran Drescher fan, and she was on Happily Divorced, and we've had both of them, her and her husband, both on the show.
Oh, I know Peter well.
And we saw Peter before this COVID thing. Do you live in California or New York? I kind of had the impression you lived in New York.
You know, I lived in New York in the 70s, and then I lived there for a year when I was doing a show in the 90s. I go back and do theater occasionally. But really, I live in LA. But I love Fran. I love Fran. She is just so fabulous, and she does such wonderful things for charity, and she's such a talent. I love her.
Meanwhile, she came on our show in a white bathrobe.
She didn't know it was video.
She didn't know it was video. She thought it was radio. So there's Fran, and she said, oh my God, this is television? No, nobody told me.
I had to ask. I asked. I got up early and washed my hair.
She did not have a stitch of makeup on. Her hair was soaking wet, and she was so pretty. And I told her,
she's beautiful. And she's the main thing. She's also beautiful on the inside. She does so much work for cancer and all these different charities, and just a wonderful, lovely lady, and so sweet. I mean, it's always a joy to work with her because she's just so sweet and very giving. Not every actress you work with is very giving to the other actresses.
Fran didn't come from far from where I live. We live maybe 12 miles apart, and I know the type of woman Fran Drescher is because I dated a lot of girls from Flushing
before he came out.
Before I came out, when I was discovering who I was.
Yeah, well, we want to hear those stories.
Anyway, the girls from Flushing, Jewish girls, basically. You know, I'm Italian, so we used to go out with the Jewish girls because they used to say terrible things that they did, which is not true. But maybe some. Fran Drescher is a real, what we call in Yiddish, Hamisher Brud. She's a homebody, good girl. She loves her parents. She loves Peter to death. I am so happy. I'm going to give a little bit of gossip. I understand from the birdies that Peter and Fran may be living together again because they love and adore each other. They just won't have sex. Because Fran said it's not the most.
I know so many marriages like that.
Yeah, well, I think Peter was hysterically crying when I spoke to him about it. And he said, I love Fran more than anything. I'm just so sorry that I'm gay and I can't be the guy she wants. And I said, bullshit. Every woman, I'm 80 years old. If I tell you the chicks that chase me, old ladies, they want to marry me. They said, I don't want sex. I just want a husband like you. I said, what makes you think I'm 80 and I don't want sex? You know, as long as it's... Well,
if that is true, I'm so happy for them because I know they adore each other. And I'm just happy for whatever makes them happy.
Well, it's rumored. I should call Peter and ask him about it. But I hope so because I love the both of them. Peter is one of the sweetest, kindest, most gentle men in the world. And Fran is the same. And God made them to be together. I don't know why he was born gay, but that was the mistake. But I think they can rectify it. You know what? As you get older, sex is not the most important thing. Cuddling and hugging is. Don't you agree?
Well, it's all important.
There you go.
But the hugging and the cuddling is also very important. And, you know, and also the character side. The older you get, the more you appreciate people who are kind and who have a really good sense of humor and who can keep you entertained and are fun to be with.
I want to ask you another question. If Cary Grant were alive today and wanted to go to bed with you, would you?
Well, if I weren't involved, oh yeah, you know, I met Cary. We did hosted Chinese New Year's together at Caesar's Palace one year. He and Greg Peck and we all flew in on the Caesar's jet together. That was fun.
Oh we got.
Huh?
You're beautiful, and they're both gorgeous. They're like
Carrie,
they're so gorgeous.
I told you, Jimmy and I are married 9 years, and I told Jimmy I cheat.
Cary Grant.
Well, he was gorgeous, as was Greg Peck. But the funny thing is, Willie Nelson's an old friend of mine, and Willie had been playing at the amphitheater. And so he and his wife had we came off stage and they said, oh, we're going to Dinah Shore's house over in Bel Air. You want to go? And I said, well, I don't really know Dinah. I don't want to crash your party. And they said, oh, no, it's real casual. Come and go. So I get in the limo. We drive over the hill to Bel Air. We walk in and there is a buffet laid out in the foyer, beautiful. And there's Greg Peck standing there. And so Willie just stopped cold. And I said, are you okay? And he says, I love Gregory Peck. Gregory Peck is my favorite actor. And I said, have you ever met him? He says, no. Did you know him? I said, yeah, we've done some charity work together. Do you want to meet him? So I take Willie Nelson over to meet Gregory Peck. And they gabbed for hours. They gabbed and gabbed and gabbed. So finally, we're in the limo driving back over the hill. And Connie and I are talking. And Willie says, Gregory Peck thinks I am a good actor. And I said, oh, that's great. That's great. He saw Electric Horseman and all this. And Connie and I are talking. He said, no, really, Gregory Peck thinks I can act. And I said, well, that's great, Willie, because you are good, And he says, no, really, he thinks I can act. I wonder if he's ever heard me sing. I said, I don't know. So cut to, like a year later, I'm getting on the Caesars jet to go to Vegas to host Chinese New Year. So I get on, there's Gregory Peck, there's Cary Grant. And so Gregory Peck leans out of the aisle and says, Morgan, you're a good friend of Willie Nelson's, right? And I said, yeah. And he says, how can you get me in touch with him? Can you give me some contact info? And I said, oh, sure. It's in my luggage when we get up back then. I said, when we get to the hotel. And so Cary Grant leans out over the aisle and he says, who are we talking about? Now, this is like 1984 or something, Willie's everywhere. And who are we talking about? And Greg says, Willie Nelson, the country music singer. And Cary says, oh, is he that chap that sings? And he starts into this thing that sounds like On the Street Where You Live from My Fair Lady, but it's the Cary Grant version of On the Road Again. I wish I had it on tape. So then I get to the hotel and I call Willie and I say, now listen, Gregory Peck wants your contact info. I would never give your contact info without asking you. Is it okay? He says, oh my God, yes, it's okay. What do you think he wants? I said, I don't know. He didn't say. He says, he thinks I can act. I wonder if he wants me to be in a movie with him. I said, I don't know, Willie. He didn't tell me. And so finally, it turned out Greg was producing the Oscars that year and he wanted Willie to sing on the Oscars. But
cool.
As big an honor as that is, I know Willie would have rather be in a movie with Gregory Peck.
Morgan, did you know Lee Winkler from Global Enterprises? Everybody's business manager.
I'm sorry, say again?
Lee Winkler from Global Enterprises. He was every star's business manager.
Not every.
Oh, yes. Everybody in Hollywood that was hot. Burt Reynolds, all the way down the line. That's how
I didn't know him, but I met him.
You've met him. Okay. He was my best and dearest and closest friend for 40-something years. We're like brothers.
Everybody in the chat room loves you. Everybody in the chat room, I think, was worried that you were going to be a bitch like you are on TV too. Because they're all like, "Oh my God, she's so fabulous. She's so wonderful. We love her. Best story ever."
No.
That shows how good an actress you are.
No. Out of all the celebrities I have met, and I have met everybody in Hollywood, 50 years of worth of running around. Rhonda Fleming was the only bitch that I ever met.
Who?
Rhonda Fleming was not
really?
She was a stuck-up snob because she was married to Man Theater. She's dead. She was married to Man Theater.
Look at her face.
No, she was married to Man Theater, and she thought who the hell she was. And she was Jane Russell's best friend, and Jane Russell was my sister, my dearest friend in the world. And she was so rude to me when I asked her to come on, set the record straight. I mean, she talked down like I was garbage.
So hang on.
And my show was #1 for a long time.
We have 2 minutes, and here's what we're going to do. First of all, you guys. So
you're coming back, Morgan.
This is Morgan Fairchild, you guys. She's fabulous. She's wonderful. She hasn't aged a day since she was on TV.
I don't even want to talk about it because it's scary.
No, everybody's texting me messages how beautiful you are. And that
Morgan,
tell them thank you.
Morgan, listen, I don't blow smoke, okay?
Say again, I can't hear you.
I don't blow smoke up butts, but if I didn't know who you were and I met you, I would think you were 45 years old.
Oh, well, thank you.
I
I
mean,
got a birthday next week.
There we go. So
You
everybody,
have not aged at all.
you guys follow
Have
Morgan.
have you
Hang on.
seen Sophia Loren's movie?
No,
That's
don't
out?
talk.
No.
Oh my God, she doesn't even look like her anymore. She aged terribly. And I made a movie with Sophia in 1959, and she was breathtaking. And then I
Oh, I
watched her.
love
That was
her.
his
She's
highlight.
one of my faves. I love
She's a
her.
very, very sweet person, by the way. Very lovely woman.
I know.
on,
I've
let
met
me
her
go
a few times. I've
Yeah,
met her a
very-
few times.
Very lovely, but she don't look good. You have to do something with her.
Well, I
That's
mean,
the
my
record.
God, she's getting in her late 80s. Give the lady a break.
I'm 80. She's 86. I was 19 when we did That Kind of Woman with Deb Hunter, who remained my friend 50-something years. Deb and I were like brothers. And Jimmy met him right before he passed away, 2 weeks before he passed.
Hang on, let's go. I got to get this in.
Yes, go.
All
Get
right,
it
so
in.
you guys,
Get
this is
everything in.
Morgan Fairchild. You guys, first of all, follow her on social media. It's MorgFair on Twitter. It's Morgan Fairchild #1 on Instagram. On Saturday, February 6th, you can go to wizardworldvirtual.com to get tickets, and she's doing a meet and greet, a virtual meet and greet for Wizard World. Then she's doing Fan Room Live Sunday, February 21st, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, a virtual meet and greet. You can do all kinds of cool things with her. She's fabulous. You see how nice she is on the show. You're going to have a blast. Please support her, follow her in social media, watch all her things. You got to watch Paper Dolls. It's fabulous. You also got to watch Fashion House. I loved Fashion House also.
Oh, thank you.
Remember, I was a clothing designer, so all the fashion stuff was my favorite. And you guys, she's not a bitch in real life. She's fabulous. You don't have to worry about it. You see that in her Twitter. She's very cool.
No, but I said to Tippi Hedren, when I interviewed her, I said, when you did The Birds, and the scene where you go into the bedroom and what's her name, that wonderful actress is in the bed, and you have to bring her tea. I didn't get it. Your character changed. And Tippi said to me, well, she suggested to me I not play it like a bitch because people are not going to like me. She said, so we turned it around and I went in very caring and sweet. And I said, how could your character do that? She was a bitch to you, the old lady. She didn't want you with her son and made it quite obvious. Tippi said, well, they did it because she's a grande dame. What was her name? The one that was married to the man forever. Teresa not included. What's her name? English actress.
Anyway,
she was in the Birds. In the Birds with Tippi Hedren. Tippi, do you know Tippi?
Yeah.
Love, adore,
She's
adore,
wonderful.
adore. I love her more than anything in the world.
Do people ever give you like roles now?
Wait, I didn't finish. Tippi Hedren and I were at Blackwell's funeral at the Four Seasons Hotel. We both got drunk and we were making out.
That was before me.
Tippi and I were hugging and kissing. We love each other so much.
Wait, did they bring you roles that I noticed one of the films that you've done recently, and your character's name was Grandma, which I have a hard time seeing you play a grandma because you don't look like a grandma. But like, do they give you? Are some of your roles that you're getting now not playing the bitch?
Oh yeah. I played a grandmother in that one. I wore a short gray wig in it, and I played Mrs. Santa Claus in one that was out like last year and ran again this year. And I did another playing a mother of some young man in a romantic comedy for another one, Christmas in Vermont. So I don't always have to play the bitch.
Good. All right, so you guys go.
Although it's a lot of fun.
I want to make one point. Today, I'm a senior citizen. I have 6 movies waiting for me to make. I've just shot 4. I am working now more than I ever did when I was a young man, because when I was a young man, the competition was tremendous. I was up against all the gorgeous men of Hollywood. Now I'm the only old bag that's still alive, and they grab me when they can. Because I still can speak and I can see. and move occasionally. So I just want you to know out there that like Lauren Bacall said to me, no movie is old until after you've seen it. And I want to say one thing: a movie star is over in Hollywood. It's a legend. It's something they gave us. It's history. And Morgan's work and Jane Russell's work and Tippi's and everybody else's work is history. Never in front of me ever refer to it as, oh, that old stuff. I will punch you.
You're fabulous. So, Morgan, thank you so much.
Another thing, Morgan.
We got to go.
I got to ask her.
I know, but
let us take you to lunch. I want to talk to you about Set the Record and a movie that you made.
Well, when COVID is over.
When COVID's over, let's. Jimmy,
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere now. I am the
No,
best COVID person. I go nowhere. I wear my mask, and I'm
we will-
living at home.
We will call you, and Jimmy has maybe a good part for you in the movie. And I
do
definitely
produce a lot of
definitely
movies.
want to put you up there with my celebrity list of great stars.
Thank you.
And everybody wants Set the Record Straight Back. That's all they do is they write. So it'll be a TV show. And it's a good one. It's not the crazy one like here where we talk pretty and get nuts. It's a very, very sophisticated.
We were clean with her anyway. So everybody, this is Morgan Fairchild. Please go to fanroomlive.com, book a ticket, meet her again, follow her on social media. We want to thank
do
you
you
for
believe
coming
how
on the show.
look how beautiful she
I know
is.
they're doing a close-up now.
I cannot believe
Thank you.
that your beauty has lasted this long and is still stunningly gorgeous.
Well, you're very kind. I
No, I'm
appreciate
not
it.
kind. I'm telling the truth. Kindness doesn't go in this.
So anyway,
if you were an ugly troll and I said it, then I'd be kind.
so Morgan, we want to thank you so much. Congratulations on everything. We're big fans. We love your work.
Yes, and now that I know
Thank you, guys.
I see how sweet you are. Now I'm even far more fonder than you than just your beauty. I know that you're a good girl.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Morgan.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful week.
Thanks,
you
you
too,
too.
sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming on. What a lovely girl.
Yes.
She's really terrific.
Beautiful.
Even Joan Collins, that everybody thinks is an evil bitch. Joan is a Gemini. Joan Collins has my personality. She could be funny sarcastically, and you never know how to take her. Joan can, like my friend Perry Winkler was dancing at a party, and Joan Collins was dancing at the same party, and they went back to back. And Perry said to Joan Collins, "I want to thank you so much for bringing gowns back and glamour through Dynasty." And Joan, how did she say to Perry that Perry got upset?
I don't know. But anyway, we gotta go. We gotta go. We got guests.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Let's start bringing in our second round, you guys. This is a busy show today because we've got 3 groups of guests coming on. And there's one that we know, Mr. Steven, who just writes Steven. He doesn't write Stephen Perkins, but we haven't seen him in quite a while. So hello, Steven. Say something. Let's make sure we can hear you.
Hi, old friends. Well, young friends,
Hey,
but old souls. How are you?
Oh, young friends. How's that?
How are you,
Yes, my young
Stevie?
friends.
Then we have Daniel Shulman, sorry, and we have not had him before. Daniel, hello, and welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Let's make sure we can hear you. Oh, I don't hear him.
I have to say something. Move your mouth.
Daniel,
Say-
spit it out. Spit it
I
out.
don't think he hears us.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us. Hey, Rebel, can you do something? Is his mic on or something, or send him a message? I hear him typing. I know I can hear him typing, though. That's funny.
He's got fast
Now
hands.
his mic is off, and now his mic is back on. Daniel, can you hear us?
Don't type. What am I, Mary Secretary? I mean, I know.
He's
So,
got
well,
very quick hands. Very quick hands.
Very fast fingers.
I'm gonna tell Eileen to text him.
Okay.
Eileen, text Daniel and tell him that we can't hear him. Ask if he can hear us because we can't see anything. Daniel, say hello. Move your mouth.
All right, let's just talk to
Steven.
the drummer.
So,
boy.
Steven, who are you sitting in front of? Like, what gold records or platinum records are you sitting in front of?
Well, let's see. Behind me, I got Chili Peppers, 9 Inch Nails, Jane's Addiction, Rage Against the Machine, Porno for Pyros.
I love it.
You know?
Not
Freaking
bad,
awesome.
not bad. Now, if you get Johnny Mantis, you're really made.
But he's in all those. He won them all.
I know that I'm saying, but now if you get to play for Johnny Mantis, you're really in.
There you
So
go.
Daniel says he can't hear anything. He can only see himself. That's weird.
Well,
Turn your volume up. Let's see. It's straight. If you turn, you talk to Steven. Turn.
Well, you know, most of my life, I only see myself anyway. So Morgan Fairchild, wow.
isn't she stunningly beautiful?
I mean, she's a
She's
10 times 10. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and she's a woman, 50 plus, and she's gorgeous. Yeah.
And now we have Gilby. Let's see if we can hear Gilby. Gilby,
Hey.
say something. Can we hear
Hey.
you?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. So two out of 3, we're doing good. 2 out of 3, we're doing good. We couldn't hear Daniel. We had him go out. We're having him come back in, and we know Steven already, but we don't. Well, we know who you are, but we don't know you. We've never met. So hi, I'm Jimmy Starr. This is Ron Russell. It's very nice to meet you. And
Hi guys,
think
how
I
are you?
want
Hey
you to
Steven, how are you?
Hi, Gilby Clark.
I really like Steve a lot. and I don't like too many people when I meet them for a short time. I really like you because you're a very fun guy. You're smiley. You have a sense of humor. We could play with you. I like that. You're a regular Joe. Some guys,
I can
some guys
sense humor.
no, but some guys think who they are because they have a Grammy or some kind of an award. Shove it.
Yeah.
It's here today and you're gone tomorrow sometimes. So
You know what? In LA, you're here today and then gone later today.
that's right. Yeah. You're here in the morning, gone in the afternoon.
So first of all, guys, since you're both here, and we'll have Daniel do it too. Eileen is like texting me. Make sure you have him say hello to me. So please say hi to Eileen Shapiro because she's not in the chat room and she's like texting me on my phone. So it'd be great if you guys say hi to Eileen.
Hi, Eileen.
Eileen, thanks for all your help, first of all, and we miss you here in Los Angeles. I hope you're taking care of New York and keeping it warm.
Yes, she is.
Oh yeah, she's got her breasts. She's a breaster thing.
So everybody who
You
doesn't
think I
know,
wasn't going to make a tit joke about it? You're crazy. You're crazy.
oh, hang on, Daniel, say something. Let's see if we can hear you.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yay!
hear
All right,
you.
so now we have Daniel Shulman. Hello.
Welcome, Daniel.
Let me do a welcome
Thank you
now for
very much.
everybody. I'm going to do a
Right.
welcome for everybody. Now we want to welcome Stephen Perkins, Gilby Clark, and Daniel Shulman to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Hello and welcome to the show.
Good to be
Hey.
here.
Happy to be here, guys.
This
Here
is
we
my
go.
cool, outrageous man about town, Ron Russell. I forgot who he was.
You know what? When you get the divorce papers tomorrow, just read the signature on the bottom.
Yeah. And we have a chat room with all kinds of countries being represented. So please say hi to everybody in the chat room, you guys.
Sayonara, shalom, ciao.
Let's get back to Stephen because I know Stephen the best.
I have a
Um,
question for you guys.
No, I wanted to
She
say.
has a question for you.
Wait, after the,
Yeah,
let me just
are
make,
you
let me make-
lovers or partners or both? What is it going
We're
on?
married.
We're married.
Married. You know, we're married for 9 years.
10 years, almost 10.
years. Stephen,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have got to say, and we've discussed this before, that I call you like the new nowadays Gene Krupa. You really move those sticks. I mean, you're good. I love to listen to you, and I'm so sad that we can't because of COVID go to the Dome. I so enjoyed going to the Dome and listening to you, and of course the saxophone player, whatever that jerk's name is, who I
Gilby-
love very much.
Gilby,
He's a dear best friend.
I think Gilby came to one of the shows. That
He did, yeah.
Dome.
They're great,
One of-
great
Really
shows.
one of the coolest places to play in LA. It doesn't have great sound, but the
Love
whole
it.
experience was
Love
just
it.
unbelievable.
I told Tyler that he's got to play there with you guys, and Tyler said he would love to.
Tyler.
The guy that wrote the finger book.
Oh,
Is that
Tyler? He's talking about Leland.
Oh,
He's talking
Leland.
about Leland Sklar.
Leland.
We love Leland Sklar. He's been on the show
We
like
love
10
Leland.
times. We
And I
love
said
him.
to Leland, you got to play with the boys at the Dome. And he said, I would love to. Could you imagine you, a saxophone player, whatever his name is, and Leland playing on the same set? Woo!
And Gilby and Daniel.
You couldn't sell
So-
a ticket. You
so
couldn't
hang
sell
on,
a
first
ticket
of all-
under $100.
Real quick, in like 5 sentences more, I know who you guys are, and I don't want to brag for you. So tell us what bands that you've played with and who you are. Steven kind of did it before you guys started, but we'll let him do it again anyway. And then Gilby do it, and then Daniel do it, and talk a little bit about that. And then I want to bring up one thing with Gilby, and then we're going to talk about your new video that you guys just did.
Well,
Go ahead,
Stephen
Steven.
Perkins, I'm a drummer. I started with Benny Goodman, and then
Wow.
John Coltrane, and then James Addiction, Corner for Pyros, Infectious Groove, a whole bunch of other bands you might not ever heard of.
Screw all the other ones. Benny Goodman did
He
it.
was joking.
Oh,
He's like 40 years old.
No, nobody really bonifies anybody's resume anymore, so you can say
No,
whatever you want,
I-
Stephen.
That's hilarious.
you know what it is because I'm still alive and kicking, and I know Benny Goodman, not personally, but his music. I'm 80 years old, so I forgot that Perkins is only about 78.
No, he's like.
No, he's a baby.
He's like his kids are only like 10, so he's got to be young.
And Eileen Shapiro said he's hung like a mule.
Yeah,
You're
that is-
almost
that is-
18, aren't you, Steve?
Actually, for as far as like rock star penis sizes go, like you're like at the top of the list of a lot of
Eileen
lists
Shapiro. I said
that
to
are
Eileen,
on the.
I said to Eileen, "How do you know?" She said, "I look one glance and I tell you exactly what you got. I said, "You're amazing." She said,
All right,
"Yeah."
so let's go to the next one. Gilby, tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, I play guitar, and I played with Guns N' Roses, the MC5, Heart, Nancy Sinatra. I did a couple records with Nancy and a couple tours with her. Slash the Snake Pit, and of course Halloween Jack, the greatest band of all time.
We forgot Halloween Jack. That's what we're here for. So we forgot about that.
Good.
All right, Daniel, you're up.
Yeah, okay. My name is Daniel Shulman. I'm a bass player. When I was a teenager, I lucked into playing on some Run DMC records.
I love them.
Which led to me playing with Warren G, who had a really big record with Regulate. Then as I got into my 20s, I joined the group Garbage and did some world tours and records with them, which led to the greatest band of all time, Halloween Jack, with Perkins and Gilby. I played in a few different bands with Perkins, which most people may have never heard of, but one of the bands, Double E Knows, kind of connected the three of us because Gilby used to do our sound and Perkins used to do percussion. So that's how I kind of got to know these guys.
Yeah. I love it. It's so funny because I used to be a celebrity clothing designer and I dressed Elton John and I was at a concert and Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC. Was there and sitting in the front row next to me, so I got to meet him and I was so freaking excited. I get super excited, I
get excited too. I met Johnny Mantis 3 times.
So Gilby, real quick, I want to go before we start talking about the New York Dolls and you guys' new video. So. And I don't know if this is something that you enjoyed doing or you didn't enjoy doing. I was a huge fan of that TV show Rockstar Supernova.
Right on.
Because it was the first show that it wasn't like having putting together a bunch.
Hang on, what is that noise?
I don't know that.
Is somebody typing?
That happens when we have too many people. I think. I don't know, but it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, it sounds like cracking, like popcorn.
So because Rockstar Supernova, hang on, let me see.
It's you son of a. You're the one crackling.
So no, I don't think so. So Rockstar Supernova was the first show that actually looked for a rock singer. It's not mine. Hang on, let me see. Hang on.
Unplug.
My first. No, it's not mine. Okay, so anyway, it was Rockstar Supernova.
Use yours. We'll see if it's mine.
So I loved the show. I thought it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. And actually, after the show happened, and I guess after you guys did whatever you did, because I don't know really what happened with it afterwards, but we actually had. We had both Delana and Lucas Rossi came on our show.
Oh, fantastic.
Delana's been on the show several times. Lucas Rossi was only on the show one time. I thought they were they were terrific. So how was that for you doing? Because that's kind of different for a rock star to then go and look for a singer, on a TV show. That was way out of the norm.
Yeah, and that's what I thought when I was approached to do it. I was a little worried because I never thought rock was really represented well, on a TV show or whatever out there. So I did have some hesitation, but actually Perkins's good friend Dave Navarro kind of gave me some advice because he had already done the show before, and I had a chat with him, and he kind of convinced me to do it. And Mark Burnett, the producer, I can't say more great things about him. He was so awesome. He let us be ourselves. He never wrote any words for us to say. He really just said, just do your thing and be honest. I think, the TV audience needs to hear rock and roll represented correctly by, real guys that are out there and playing every day. So yes, I loved it.
Right. Yes. Was he a good kisser?
Didn't get that opportunity.
Actually, though, everything Mark Burnett touches turns to gold.
We ended up doing a tour together. And
that's true.
After the cast on the tour, basically, Delana and also Lucas, of course, and Gilby and T. Lee, one of our favorite drummers of all time, and me and Navarro. And it was a good tour, actually. I mean, it
was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
I did too, man. A lot of fun, and we were off the stage by 9:30, so we had all night ahead of us to keep having the fun.
Yeah.
I asked for that tour and I didn't get the gig.
Oh.
For what part, Daniel? For the singing or for in the band?
Oh, no, for playing bass, but I've let that go.
Well, what's interesting is how I actually got it was there were 2 seasons of Rockstar. The first one was for the band In Excess, and then the second one was, they made a band to have the singer for. Well, the first season, they kind of wanted like an all-star band to be the backing bands when the singers came up. So I actually auditioned. I had, my band was myself and Ryan Roxy on guitar, Johnny Colt and Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes on bass and drums, and then Dizzy Reed from GNR and keys. And we auditioned, and that was one of the ideas when they saw us. They were like, well, maybe next year, you know, we should try something different and start a new band. And so that was kind of the trigger for everything.
You know what's missing in this little bunch of squares?
What?
Saxophone player, Scott.
He's not in Halloween Jack.
I don't give a shit. We could have thrown him in there. I like Scotty. Scotty's a dear friend of mine. Anybody you see Scott lately? No.
Yeah, I see him all the time. You know, not in person, but we have a project together called the Rock Talk Show. So I see Scott twice a week for our meetings and our.
Because he doesn't.
Scott's an amazing. When I grew up, I wanted to play jazz players, and no one in LA had a saxophone or a piano. Really, it was about guitar and bass. But when I got to meet Scott later on in life, I was just so attracted to his personality, first of all, but his saxophone playing. So gutsy, so cool.
Yeah, he's one of our sweetest, dearest friends.
Yeah, gutsy's a good word.
And I love his wife also, John Wayne. That's how I remember her name, by John Wayne. Wayne is a sweetie too.
All right, so now we got Halloween Jack here, you guys. Now you're not Guns N' Roses and Garbage and Jane's Addiction. Now you're Halloween Jack. You did a brand new video. The name of the song is Trash. It's a tribute. First of all, it's a cover song. It's a tribute to the late Sylvain from the New York Dolls, who I actually met at Trash and Vaudeville like many years ago.
Wow.
When I was like young, because I was a clothing designer and I used to go there all the time to see what kind of shit they were making. And he recently died of cancer, which is super unfortunate. But you guys did the video, and I believe for real rock stars. New York Dolls, that's like one of the most influential bands like around, like for when you guys were growing up and getting into all of this, right? So why don't each one of you give us a little take on the whole, like how this whole thing came together? I think, Stephen, it was your idea, so you should start it.
Well, Halloween Jack was about 5 or 6 years ago, and we did about 15, 20 songs at Gilby's home studio. And when Sylvain passed away a couple weeks ago, I was in the shower where all the great ideas come. And I thought, oh, man, we did such a good cover of Trash. Wouldn't it be cool if we did what now everybody's trying to get this, in a sense, a Brady Bunch type of video together when everyone's separate and we do our little squares and film separately and do a little love card, a little, a memory love kiss to Sylvain. And we already had the mix together, but we did get a chance to add one of the great guitar players of all time, Steve Stevens, who I can tell was really influenced by the Dolls and by his sound and his look and his attitude. And Gilby put it together for us and mixed it. And our friend Mark Almontano did the video editing. And, it's really about a band that had courage. They stuck to their guns. They did whatever they liked. And, one or two records later, it still stands the test of time as one of the great bands. And everyone from Motley Crue to Alice Cooper to Kiss imitates them.
Yeah.
I love it.
I remember when these groups first started, everybody thought, oh my God, what noise. We were used to Peggy Lee and Johnny Mathis, Frank Sinatra, and all those crooners, all soft music. And then suddenly all the screaming starts and the banging and the boing, 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 woo, 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 woo. I said, friends of mine, that shit will never happen. It's going to come and go. I don't think so. I don't think it came and went, because now I understand it. And as an old guy, I appreciate it. When I was young, I hated it. I thought it was noise. Couldn't even dance to it unless you were loaded. You had to do a little LSD and a little coke and then maybe some downs or maybe a couple of Quaaludes, and then you might be able to understand the music.
Well, I don't know. For me, seventh grade
Not that any
Kiss.
of you boys know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
of course.
I was like,
none of you know what a Quaalude is.
I have
714.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? But like Picasso, Salvador Dali, it's not. You can't understand it. It's not for everybody, but it changes things.
Yeah.
There was a moment before Jackson Pollock threw the paint. He was actually using brushes, and one day he had the balls to say, "I'm going to throw the paint, and I have to have courage." And now I don't think anybody Jackson Pollock on our wall, you know.
Oh, I wish I had one though. I'd sell it in a freaking heartbeat.
Did you know that his sister was a very good friend of mine? Friend of Zelda. His sister was a dear friend of mine, and she had her apartment in New York loaded with his work.
I think that's funny. All right, Gilby, you're up. So wait a minute, go back to Steven. So who were some of, like, when you were like younger, before you got into a band, which you started really young, like who were some of your influences that made you want to go into a band back then? Like, and you're like 12 years old and you're like, I'm gonna be a fucking rock star.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're talking to Steven?
I was talking to Steven just to answer that part, and then I was gonna let you. No, Steven. Steven. Who,
Me?
Like when you were 10 years old or 12 years old, who was like the person that you know, the band, the one or two bands that you were like, oh my God, this is my band.
I had 3 records. I had one Beatles record, one Jackson 5 record, and one Sly Stone record, and there it is, man. That was it.
Oh, wow.
What was the Sly Stone record?
It was, actually, it was.
I love Sly
the title. I can't recall the name of the record, but it had some of the hits, but a lot of the songs that aren't hits were on it, and just so much soul and so much, and the lyrics really touched me. And I didn't realize they were from San Francisco. I thought they were like a Detroit band, but now I knew, now I know they were a West Coast band. But yeah,
I loved all their music.
That's hilarious. All right, Gilby, your turn. First, Gilby, tell us real quick, who was your influences when you were like a little boy, a little bit. Little baby Gilby. What was little baby Gilby like?
Little baby Gilby's first concert was Kiss. I loved.
Me too.
I loved Kiss, but at that time, amongst my friends, it was a fight. It's like if you like Kiss, you weren't allowed to like Led Zeppelin. If you like Led Zeppelin, you weren't allowed to like Kiss. But I like them both. I loved Led Zeppelin, Kiss were my favorite bands, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper. And then like a couple of years later, as I was really getting deep into music, as I became a musician, I started getting into like Rush in UK, trying to be a better musician. And then I had an English girlfriend and she turned me on to The Clash. And that just changed.
What did you say? She turned you onto the Clap?
The Clash. The Clash.
Clash. I thought you said she gave
I
you the
collect
Clap.
action figures, and I have a set of Kiss dolls that are like 24 inches tall, and each one plays their hit song when you press on.
Oh, wow.
Can I ask a question? Now, am I a square because I love Steely Dan?
Yes.
I thought Steely Dan was one of the best bands out there. I love their music.
I think they're a great band. Obviously, they're iconic. But yeah, you are square.
There you go, Gilby. All right, so tell us a little bit about the New York
That's not true because I love Country Joe and the Fish. Nobody knows who Country Joe and the Fish is.
I don't know who Country Jones is.
So Gilby, tell us now. Okay, so the New York Dolls. Give us.
So anyway, when I discovered the Clash, like I said, this is kind of the late 70s. I also discovered the New York Dolls, who had by that time had already come and gone. But something just really resonated because I always loved bands like the Stones, Aerosmith. And to me, the Dolls are kind of like in that vein, but they're just, obviously a lot more glamorous. Like their look is just, extremely striking. So something just struck a chord in me. And as a guitar player, I just really related to Johnny Thunders because I wasn't like an Eddie Van Halen kind of guitar player. So I could really resonate, with Johnny Thunders. So, man, I wore, at that time it was vinyl. I wore my vinyl out, of the first 2 records. And from that point on, the Dolls have always stuck with me. I mean, I still say they're one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time.
Were the Dolls boys or girls?
Boys.
They called themselves the Dolls?
New York Dolls. They wore like women's
Were they a little
makeup
on the gay side?
No, they're just rock stars. They're like real like rock stars.
They dressed in drag and called themselves the Dolls?
No. Don't be disrespectful because
I'm not disrespectful. I'm trying to figure it out.
You know what they are? Because actually there was an HBO miniseries about the music industry, and the band that they fashioned it, that they were following it all, was fashioned after the Dolls. I forgot what that TV show was, but it was on HBO. It was
answer my
amazing.
question.
It was a blip in Scorsese's TV career.
Yes, no, they were the first band to wear makeup and eyeliner and make it glam rock. Like that's how David Bowie and all the people got it from. They got it from the New York Dolls. Everybody got it from
our friend with the blue hair.
Yeah, like Ricky Rebel, but
Ricky Rebel. You know who Ricky Rebel is?
No, they're not gonna know Ricky Rebel.
Ricky Rebel is hot. He's like a weirdo, the hot Now, if I
So
like,
hold on,
wait,
no,
wait,
no,
if
that's
I like
Daniel's turn.
Chicago, am I square if I like
Another thing that's
Chicago?
interesting. I didn't hear that.
I said, am I
I was going to
square
say,
if I like Chicago?
yes.
We had them on the show 2 weeks
They're
ago.
wonderful. They're fab. I love Chicago.
All right, so go. Okay, no, go. What were you going to say, Gilby?
So I was going to say, what's interesting about the New York Dolls is, they came out in like 73, 74. They actually didn't sell very many records. Like they weren't really considered a successful band as far as, record sales and hit records. But if you ask 9 out of 10 musicians, even today, they will cite the New York Dolls, as an influence. So that's how, they really influenced musicians, artists. They just had such a huge impact, not just their music and their look, but what they were doing at that time. And like Steven was saying, they really stood out. They're like rebels at that time. They did something that no one was doing at that time.
I love it. I love it. All right, so now we're going to go to Daniel. Daniel, first of all, it's Daniel who pops.
Yeah, but I'm not saying a word because I'm a square.
Okay, you're a square. Don't talk. Daniel, first of all, tell us who were your influences when we were young. I have a hard time like even recognizing you because the pictures that were sent to me for you were like promo pictures where you got like eyeliner. I mean, like you look all like a totally different person. Like I don't even recognize you.
Well, I'll tell you.
But go ahead and first off, okay, go ahead and then we're gonna bring Scott.
Halloween
Actually,
Jack, I would say, actually probably started.
Ah ha ha ha! Thrill seekers.
Oh, there you are, you old bag.
Halloween
look
Jack
at you.
probably started when I was in
What up?
elementary school.
What
When I
up?
Hang on, you're interrupting.
Wait,
You're interrupting. Let the guy finish talking. Go ahead, Daniel, and then
Room full of heroes.
Scott, shut up for a second. We're gonna let you talk
Don't
in a
you
minute.
speak to Scott that way. You fucking
Okay,
homo.
Hang on. So hang on, Scott. We're gonna let Daniel finish. Go, Daniel. Go. Now he disappeared.
I said to everybody,
Let me know when
Scott?
you're ready.
Why isn't Scott here?
Okay.
And now there
When
you
I was
are.
10, I dressed up as Alice Cooper for Halloween. So I think that's when Halloween Jack really started.
There you go.
But
When I was 10, I dressed up as Jane Russell and I made a career.
I don't know why Scott is here. But I will say this. My first favorite song was Back Jack Do It Again by Steely Dan. So I'm there with you.
Oh,
Radio before I discovered, Kiss and Led Zeppelin, and then everything totally changed, and it was all FM radio. But I would,
way to go, Daniel! You just totally like made Ron feel
Well,
like.
but I was definitely deeply into Elton John, who I did get to meet and hang out with once.
I dressed him once as a clothing designer. He was fabulous. I thought such a blast. Okay, and so the New York Dolls obviously are a big influence. I mean, you were
I
in
think I
Garbage.
may have just lost everything.
I hate that garbage. How named the group? Garbage.
It's a fabulous group.
I mean, really. Garbage. I bought an album today, Garbage.
It's fabulous. It's so awesome. It's like,
That's like you, Jimmy the Shit.
Well, without
Yes.
a doubt,
Wait.
They call Jimmy
without
Jimmy
a
the
doubt,
Shit.
Garbage deeply into the Dolls, and Shirley was definitely into bringing glamour back to rock and roll.
I love it. All right, so now we have Scott here. So Scott, you already know all these guys. You've probably done stuff. So everybody, this is Scott Page, saxophone player, very cool guy. And so Scott, do you know anything about the New York Dolls? And if you do, were they an influence for you?
I'm looking at the two New York Dolls right now. There they are, Steve Perkins and Gilby. Right? Oh, no, you run. That's of course.
Oh, I thought you meant me, you son of a.
He did. He said, no, I meant you.
I never really followed them a lot, so I don't know a lot about them. Obviously know of them for sure. And, obviously one of the great sort of influential bands in that genre, but I don't know a whole lot about them. How about you, Perkins? Did you know a lot about them?
Absolutely. You know what's funny is like punk rock, I think started with Iggy, and Iggy was 1969. And then, a lot of people talk about the Ramones and New York scene, and of course what happened in England with the Clash and the Pistols. But between Iggy and all that was the Dolls. Mm-hmm. And it's a punk rock band with a lot of glamour. And when the first time I went to New York City with Jane's Addiction in '87, we all went to Trash for Vaudeville and said, how do we dress like the Dolls? And that's the store we went to. But, I don't know where the Dolls pulled it from, because you can kind of trace all the bands, and even the Pistols had Malcolm who dressed them, and the Clash had their team that helped them figure out what to do on the back of their jackets with the stencils. But the Dolls were just this original, unbelievably just brave band. And you think about David Johansen; he's the only living member now.
Yeah, true.
And,
Yeah.
What was so brave about the Dolls?
They were the first
In
one.
1957, I went to a gay bar on Long Island and I saw all men with makeup. Way before the Dolls.
So wait, you guys. Okay, so you guys. First of all, you guys. Tomorrow the video is coming out. The name of the video is Trash, and it's a New York Dolls cover song. But first of all, Steve or Gilby or somebody, how did you pick that song? Why is that the song that you picked to do the cover of?
Well, I think when we were doing Halloween Jack Live, we all kind of made a list of the songs that we wanted to cover that was kind of in the glam rock, genre. And I think all of us actually had Trash on our list. Mm-hmm. It's an iconic song for them. I mean, it's such a great subject. It kind of, to me, besides Personality Crisis, it's like their anthem.
Yeah. I think which is
Scott Page, I have a question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
I've already told Leland that we're having lunch because he doesn't live far from you. So as soon as COVID's over, we're having lunch. You, Leland, Jimmy, and I.
Let's do it.
Well, wait a minute. I also said to Leland, I think that he should be playing in the Dome with you guys, and he said he'd love to. He would love to play with you guys at the Dome.
So Ron's like
wait, one of these days. Yes,
I will give you free publicity if you have Leland play the Dome.
No problem. We like that. By the way, have you seen Leland's book yet? I just saw it last night.
He sent me a copy signed.
It's unbelievable.
I've been pushing it all the time.
Unbelievable.
Are you guys
in
in
for hours, turning pages, thousands and thousands of people flipping them. It's crazy.
Are you in it, Steven?
Steven's in it.
Steven, are you in Leland's book? Yeah. Steven, are you in Leland's book?
I am not in the book, but I do have two fingers. If you want to.
There you go. You're in it now.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's doing another book.
He said he's going to do another one. He'll put us in it, so we'll make sure you get in it.
And you'll be in it. We fell in love with Leland. He's a great guy. He's such
Leland, when we asked Leland when he started growing his beard, he said when he was 17, he still hasn't shaven since then.
Wow.
I know. He is one cool guy and one nice person.
He never shaved.
Hey, Gilby, have you played with Scalar?
No, I haven't. No.
Wow.
No.
I thought you would have by now. That's
you know who he is?
At least once with the Scalar.
Yeah.
Do you know who he is?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. How about you, Daniel? Do you know Leland?
I hear he's one of the top up in the business.
Yeah.
Yes, Jimmy did the resume of him. He played.
I can't believe it. Scalar's been on 26.
I don't know him personally, but
he's played
26,000 records, 2,600 albums, basically.
He has played with everyone.
Imagine that.
That's insane. That's insane.
Incredible.
We got to get.
Wait, he has played with everyone that sings. The list goes from Dionne Warwick to John Ross. I mean, back to rock and roll.
All these guys got that shit.
Johnny Mathis has played for.
One of my favorite records of all time.
Which is?
Oh, he got frozen. He froze.
Who froze?
Yeah, we got to.
One of my favorite records of all time is Spectrum by Billy Cobham that he plays on, which is.
Oh, I didn't know he was on that Spectrum's record. Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
So you guys, your video, it's coming out tomorrow, you guys. The name of the song is Trash Again. It's a video tribute. All you got to do is go on YouTube and plug in Halloween Jack Trash, and it'll come right up, you guys, to watch it. We want to get a bunch of views. We want to get it out there. You see all these, not Scott. That's not
me. I've heard it though. I got a sneak peek, and it's really good.
Scott's not in it, but Steve Stevens from Billy Idol is in it. You guys, another great guitar player. So you'll see Steve Stevens, Daniel Gilby, and Steven Perkins on the video. It's like a 4-screen split. It's a fabulous video. Everybody does their little part, and I think it's freaking awesome. So number one, congratulations on the fact that you guys did it. I think it's cool to pay tribute to someone who was an influence in your life, especially since all of you guys are so successful.
Can I ask a silly question because I'm not hip on this crap? What did you think of? I forgot his name. The one with the big tongue. Mick Jagger.
Oh.
Mick Jagger.
Big lips.
Big lips, not big tongue.
Oh, whatever he had, big dick. If I liked him, am I a square?
No,
He was
Rolling
known
Stones
for
are
the riffs, yeah.
influential.
Mick Jagger. I thought
Actually,
Mick
none of
Jagger
that,
was
none of them picked
No
the
way,
Rolling
Jagger's
Stones
awesome.
though, as an influence. Oh, Daniel says awesome though that they're awesome.
Well, how about the other one who I loved who died? Put on your red shoes, baby. What was his name?
If you put Jagger's lips and Gene Simmons' tongue together, you really got something going.
Yeah, he was like Mick Jagger. He married the beautiful black model, whatever.
David Bowie.
David Bowie. I love David Bowie.
Oh yeah, so do we.
Is he? Am I a square?
He was a pretty good talent.
I loved his performance because
Listen,
Well, that's where the
no, the one song I loved is "Put on Your Red High Heel" or "Red Shoes, Baby" or something. Fabulous. So boom, boom, great song.
Let's Dance.
Let's Dance. That's it. That was a
Let's
good song.
Dance.
Boom, boom. I love that song.
Let's
Am
Dance.
I square because I like Let's Dance?
No, everybody likes David Bowie.
No, David Bowie's he's one of the greatest artists of all time.
How
Period.
about the old man that's still around? There's 150
You know, and
with long brown hair. What's his name?
a lot of people don't know
His
that
beautiful wife.
a lot of
Hang on.
people don't know that Stevie Ray Vaughan played guitar on that.
What was that? What was that? Say
Oh.
that, Perkins.
Stevie Ray Vaughan
The great Stevie Ray Vaughan played guitar
Oh, really?
on Let's
on
Dance.
Let's Dance. I didn't know that.
I love that
didn't either.
song.
Yeah.
A great beat, was a good song, good music.
Hmm.
It was haunting. It was good. The other one is the old man
Good
that with
beat.
the wife on television. What's his name? He's 100 years old with the long hair, the brown hair.
I don't know. Willie
He's
Nelson?
got a son that's a chubby guy that supposedly. You know who I'm talking about. He's famous. You guys know who he is. He's got a center part, long brown hair. He's older than me. He's got a beautiful wife, and they have a TV show.
Sonny and Cher? I don't know.
No, Sonny, my ass.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because we're running out of time. All right, you guys. So
his name will come.
this is Halloween Jack, you guys.
Famous rock and roll guy. He's more famous.
Talking about Ozzy?
Who? He's old. He's got brown hair, dyed.
How old?
Long. Older than me. Been around forever. He's famous. He's always stoned. They make fun of him because he's always loaded when he's.
Hey, Willie Nelson. You talk about Willie Nelson?
No. His wife is that beautiful woman. She's got a talk show on TV. She's lovely. Well, he is so fucking famous. I can't think of. Age sucks. Let me tell you.
Is he still on television now?
Yes, he's
Ozzy
130. Ozzy Osbourne. Who did that?
Oh, Ozzy.
Ozzy.
Who got it? Who got Ozzy?
Daniel.
Daniel,
you get a gold.
Daniel, you get the gold.
You get a gold star.
Everybody likes Ozzy Osbourne.
It's a character. God bless him. That old, like he didn't even talk anymore, but he's good.
He's really not that old.
He's older than me.
No, he's not. No, he's not older than you.
The only one older than me is Christopher Columbus.
Oh, anyway. All right, you guys. So this is Halloween Jack. We've got Daniel Shulman, Gilby Clark, Stephen Perkins. We don't have Scott Page, but he's visiting.
I know these guys, so it's okay. It's like
Steve Stevens is going to be playing on the song. The video drops tomorrow. Please go to YouTube and watch it. Check out those press all over the place for it. Just Google it. It'll come up. We want to congratulate you guys. We want to thank you guys for all. Oh, even Rebel wrote Ozzy in here. I didn't see it. But we want to thank you guys for coming on the show. Congratulations on all of you on such a successful
Hey,
career.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Ron. Thank you.
We wish you guys best of luck in everything that you do. And anytime you got anything to promote, let us know. We'll
Anyone
bring you
who's
back.
not aware.
Everybody watch Crash tomorrow.
And Scott.
Yes.
Wait, Scott.
yes.
Give Wayne a hug and a kiss for me.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
I will
Bye,
take-
Hi,
everybody.
team.
Nose.
Bye, guys.
Hooray! What a cool freaking group.
Nice show.
How cool is that to have like all those
That was
people
a
that have
good
won
show.
like Grammys and all
It's a
kinds of stuff?
good show today. We had a lot of so much talent.
Oh, it's Perkins Palace Studios is the YouTube channel that it's on, you guys, so you can look. Thank you. We want to welcome a lot of people showed up in the chat room. Bill Victor Erican is in there. Cambria, I think I said hi to you earlier, but she's in there. And Backpack John, who wrote Keith Richards. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The whole show is like rocking. Let me see. John Velasco is trying to get in.
So much talent today. I love shows like this. I'm so amazed at Morgan Fairchild. She's stunningly beautiful. But, she really held her looks forever. You don't think?
She did.
And I still can't remember where I met her. I think it was up at Don Pietro's Pizzeria in Beverly Glen. I'm pretty sure it was there.
Okay, but now we're working on our next guest. He's trying to get in.
Oh.
Everybody has a trouble if they've never done StreamYard before.
Who's our next guest?
Our next guest is John Velasco.
And what does he do?
John Velasco is probably one of the most accomplished behind-the-scenes music people in the world, and he used to, I think he managed Tina Turner.
Gotta
It's
talk to him.
one of the many things that he did.
I
I know he
love-
worked with her. I'm not sure exactly what he
I
did with her.
love Tina Turner. Tina's one of my favorite. Patti LaBelle and Tina Turner are my two beautiful women. I love the both of them.
So real quick, you guys, you can hear the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell on our home channel from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time on W4CY Radio. You can also hear us on K4HD Radio in Los Angeles, Jackalope Radio in Kansas City, Missouri. We're on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Audio Boom, Automatic, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spreaker, Apple TV, Podbean, Spotify, and Pandora. On television, we're on Comcast, Roku, Vimeo, and Jimmy Star's World TV, which is on JimmyStarsWorld.com. And we want to thank Eileen Shapiro for helping set up all these interviews today. So that, everybody that's coming on, Eileen helped with. So we want to thank her because she's fabulous. And
we love Eileen. I love Eileen. I also want to say, I mentioned all these celebrities of yesteryear that I've interviewed. If any of you are interested in seeing those interviews, go to YouTube and look for the Ron Russell's Set the Record Straight TV show. And I don't know how many are up there, but I think there's quite a few interesting ones up there.
And I want to thank Teresa Sabin, too, for doing such a good job on finding all this stuff that she's dumping. Usually B does it, and I think B's not here today. Hopefully she's okay. Oh, and Meg is in there. Hey.
Maggie, I'm going to talk to you after
she says, listen to your messages.
Yeah, I did. But I thought you were in Hilton Head. That's why I didn't call you so. But I guess you're not. Okay, I'll talk to you later after the show.
Oh, and Pat Grant joined us, too, during that last sometime in here. So, hello, Pat. How are you? Hopefully all is well. Let's see. I'm going to send him a message to come on in. I think hopefully he's
Meg, did you think?
ready.
What'd you think of Morgan Fairchild, Meg? Gorgeous, huh?
And Don, welcome back, because Don missed us last week. So welcome back.
Welcome back, Don.
Rebel, is John there? Because he said he's there.
Whatever happened to that guest that never showed up a couple of weeks ago?
Nothing. I don't know.
Did he die, maybe?
I don't know what happened to him. Maybe something bad, because we've never been able to get in touch with him.
Really? Maybe he died from COVID.
So Eileen, I don't think he's in the right one, because they said he's not there. Are you sure you got the right link? Okay, talk for a minute.
That's hard for me to do.
Oh, wait, now he is. Okay, here he comes.
Here
okay.
Here we go, Luke. There you
John,
are.
John, say
Good
something.
afternoon.
How are you?
Fine, now that I made it.
Yay! All right. Now, would you say something else? I just want to make sure we can hear you okay. And now we're happy to see you.
I know it's been fun getting on.
Okay, good.
Good.
All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the legend of behind the scenes in everything music, publishing, licensing, producing, advocating, consulting, and managing, the fantastic John Velasco. Hello and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Does legend just mean very old or what?
Yeah.
I was called a legend once, and I thought, no. When I'm 100, call me a legend. Not at 80. 80 years old, I'm on my way to legendary.
There you go. So this is my cool, outrageous man about co-host, Ron Russell, who's also my husband, since we do business together. You've never met, so say hi.
Hi. First question. What's Tina Turner like?
No, wait. We're not ready for that.
I'm busting at the seams.
I told him that you worked with Tina Turner, and then I wasn't sure what capacity that you worked with Tina Turner.
I love
So you have to tell him real quick something, because he's.
It was many years ago. My sort of mentor and partner, Mike Stewart, signed her, and I was looking after her in the UK. We moved her to UK. So I was taking care of her there and set up her tours and stuff with Barry Marshall, and then really just started her off on her new angle, so to speak, being solo.
How was she?
Fabulous.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's actually real hard worker. She used to work harder than anybody. And
a nice lady, right? She's nice as a person.
Really lovely. She and my wife used to go out and spend all the money they shouldn't have spent. But apart from that,
I like her. I like her more now.
No, she was really lovely. I mean, and to everyone, she was just.
That's everyone listening to this, send a prayer. Tina Turner, that she gets completely well. She's not been well lately.
There you go.
No, unfortunately, but all fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Also, John, we have a chat room filled with people. There's tons of people in it. Just say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, everyone.
There you go. And then you got to make sure we say hello to Eileen. We always have to say everybody says hello to Eileen.
Of course. Hi, Eileen. Yeah, and it's I've actually been texting her like crazy, saying, "Now what do I do?"
I know. She's been texting me the same time. She's texting me, and so it all works out. And we want to give a quick shout out to Brian Sebastian from Movie Reviews and More, who's in the chat room. So hey, he's also a fellow W4CY.
Oh yeah, hi Brian. Good to
say hi to Brian too. There we go. Okay, so tell us a little bit about you. First of all, I wrote some notes down. CEO of MD25 Entertainment. Some of the people that you've worked with, and I don't know what capacity, but they're all such cool people. I have to just brag for you. Fifth Dimension, Tony Orlando and Dawn, Thelma Houston, Yes, Black Sabbath, ELO, ABBA, Tina Turner, John Denver, Davy Jones. I don't know who Hal David is, but he was he must be somebody important because he's on everything. Tommy Boyce, Marvin Gaye, and more. Who is Hal David?
Marvin Gaye.
Wait, who's Hal David?
Hal David is Backrack David, who wrote almost everything from Raindrops Keep Falling on Your Head, and you've got amazing writers.
Oh, that's funny because we had B.J. Thomas on our show he won a Grammy for singing "Raindrops Keep Falling on Our Head."
That's right. Yeah, I mean, one of the most amazing songwriters of all time.
And Marvin Gaye was one of the greatest losses to music.
Oh yeah, no, he was a fun person to be around. We again with Mike Stewart, we looked after him when I made the deal to take him from Motown into CBS, and then put him into really from between London and Belgium. He was living, and he made his album in Belgium when he was there.
Wonderful talent. His "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" with Tammy Sherrill, still the best song out.
Well, incredible talent. I mean, the voice and amazing.
Tragic ending to his life, but a wonderful person.
Yeah,
because you have done so many cool things, and everything you do is behind the scenes. So people you're the silent leader of nobody really knows who you are, but everybody who's successful, you've had such a big hand in putting it all together. I wrote down that you helped put together Elton John live in Central Park. You produced some kid projects like the Care Bears and the Cabbage Patch Kids. And then I wrote down, and this is what I want to know because I don't know what this is, but you're a board member of Terror TV. What the hell? I'm a big horror movie fan. Is Terror TV
I'll have to introduce you. It's a friend of mine has probably the biggest library of horror movies, a company called Brain Damage, and they distribute it as well. And just came up with the idea that actually it's sort of half launching right now to put all his stuff on a Terror channel, which is a really fun idea. So he's just working out how he actually monetizes and put together, but he's hundreds of horror pictures.
I love that.
I make horror movies. I've got
well, he's got a full studio there in Arizona, which is just a hop and a skip for you guys.
Well, I hope that he put some of the movies I'm in up.
I
do all horror movies. What?
He has to have the rights to them.
Oh, he has to have the rights. He just can't put them. What do I just do them. I don't produce them.
Yeah, he's just in them.
I'm just an actor, common little shitty actor.
Wait, do you like horror movies at all? Is that something you would watch or not really?
No, I mean, I like the ones that are sort of tongue in cheek, the fun ones, that the others are, I mean, I like, I don't know, fun movies, things that take you out of everyday worries and life and everything else. I like to be entertained, basically.
Like the old days when we didn't have to get reality crap. Now I watch television. I said to Jimmy, if I see one more person sitting on a toilet bowl wiping their ass in a movie, I'm going to kill myself. That's not entertainment.
But the funny thing talking about that, did you hear that China just came out with the best test for COVID? It's arse checking, which is amazing swabbing. I've never heard of it. It was on the news this morning. I nearly stopped driving. It was like.
So now what do? You drive up, you stick your ass out.
That's what I'm dying to know. What happens at the end of the day?
That's what you do. You drive up to the guy, you put your ass out the window. He gets a swab and he swabs your rectum.
That's really what it sounded like.
Wonderful job. I love his job. Give him credit.
No, and he's not joking. We were on Netflix last night looking at movies, and like there was all kinds of titles.
Everybody's on a toilet.
And they show people on the toilet, and that's the picture, the album cover, the movie cover for the movie. It's like
And I
somebody
said
sitting on
to
the
Jimmy,
toilet.
this must be a new thing.
New trend.
No, we saw that beautiful redhead. What's her name?
Julianne Moore. We saw her in a
Moore
movie with one.
sitting on a toilet bowl, taking a dump, and then she wipes her butt and looks at it and throws it in the toilet and flushes. And I thought Julianne Moore didn't have to do that. She's a big star. She didn't have to do that to be in that stupid movie. She should have said, cut that crap out. Cut that shit out would be more like it.
It's how you think of actually putting that scene in the movie, which is interesting.
I know, that's right.
But she's a big star, and she doesn't need that kind of junk.
He knows like every big star. He like knows
I know
everybody.
that, but I mean, I know that Jane Russell would never do that.
That's right.
She was my best friend. Jane never. She didn't like any of the. Jane loved the censors. She said, "Thank God the movies that I was in," she said, was censored. Otherwise, they'd be having her do everything.
Actually, so everybody who tuned in on November 24th to watch the Soho Johnnies Let Me Help Inc. celebrity benefit concert to raise money for COVID and anti-bullying and all that stuff. John is the one who actually produced the show, put the whole thing together.
Wow,
it was a fabulous show, and it was for Soho Johnny, and I'm tying all of it together so we can also give a shout out to Soho Johnny because we met John Velasco. Eileen and I met John Velasco through Soho Johnny, and now John consults and works with a lot of John's companies and record labels and stuff.
Met him?
No, you never met him.
I never met him.
No, I haven't either, except for on the phone. So I'm tying it all together. So number one, let's all say hi to Soho Johnny.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey,
Johnny. He's the man behind a lot of stuff that you never hear about. I mean, the guy is such a giver. He's amazing. He supports so many charities and has done for years.
He's a good friend.
Nice to finally, his name is actually getting out there as someone that does all that.
Absolutely. It's fabulous.
He's a dear, dear friend of ours, and his best friend Nino may become my son-in-law one day.
You never know. So one of the projects you're working on is Johnny's record labels, and we have an artist that you guys signed, Animes X, and I know that you sent me a text message this morning that their version of Strawberry Fields is coming out. I think it was, I'm doing this from memory now, February 27th. Is that right?
26, yeah.
26.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's Animes is a really fun project. It's almost sacrilege what we did to the song, but as you've heard. But no, the whole idea was years ago in Japan, they had an idea of doing the Disney songs, but in metal rock. And it just went wild. They got to #1 in the charts. They did arena tours. So I had the idea of instead of doing a lot of Disney stuff, just do every song, but do it all in a rock version for kids. So we had actually a Broadway plan last year to do it this year because there's hardly anything on, as you probably know, during the day for kids in Manhattan. Yes. So our idea was to go in while the theaters were dark and do 2 or 3 shows and then out before the main show and really do it at a price so kids could actually watch the shows, like $35 a ticket or something, which would have been really fun.
It's so important because I remember growing up, the Howdy Doody show was the reason I lived. I couldn't wait to watch Howdy Doody, and he taught us all kinds of morals and manners and things, and it was a wonderful show. Somebody should bring a show back like that.
Actually, that's a good idea.
To teach the children what these stupid parents don't. Parents don't teach their children, please, may I, thank you. All right.
You're right there. That's what drives me crazy. Is that thing?
So we should have a nice puppet show that the kids love with the puppet.
Actually, animated
say
people.
Thank you. Say may I. Teach these kids manners. We're losing our decorum. We're losing our being polite.
So for anybody who didn't follow that whole thing, though, Animes X, they started out. They took Disney songs and kids songs and made them heavy metal, and it is amazing what they can actually do. With it all, they put a Christmas song out this year. Now they're doing a cover of the Beatles' "Strawberry Fields Are Forever," but in a heavy metal format. So, Don Hinton in the chat room, you'll love it. Anybody who likes real cool rock, and it's not just music. I mean, these are famous musicians who've gotten together to put this thing together, and it's amazing. And the first song will be coming out February 26th. I misspoke earlier. And you can go to their website. I think it's animesx.com, actually.
That's it. Yeah. Animes with a Z or a Z.
I sense there's an English accent somewhere.
I certainly hope it's still there. Yeah.
Still there. Where are you from? London?
From the Midlands originally, and then of course London before I came here. I came here for 2 years, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You came here for 2 years, 30 years ago.
You know, we came to I came to California in 1950. I was a baby, little boy, 10 years old, and we came just for 6 months. Well, that was 50 years ago. But anyway, London, I could hear a London accent.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
like the London accent the best.
I always think it's funny when someone from England comes here and within a month they've got a Brooklyn accent, and I never quite work out how that works.
I have a Brooklyn accent, so watch it.
You see, you didn't lose it either. No, the funniest thing
I have news for you. I go back to Brooklyn I love when I go see my Brooklyn friends. I walk in and they say to me, "You sound like a fag." I said, "What do you mean I sound like a fag?" They said, "You sound like those California faggot guys." I said, "What are you talking about?" 20 minutes later, I'm speaking Brooklynese. And they said, "Oh, thank God Ronnie's back." I hate it because, you know, out here they say, "Oh, you know, it was so nice." And they almost have a weird accent in California.
And Ron's from Brooklyn.
I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, Red Hook. You can't get any more Brooklyn than that.
It's amazing how that place has changed. It's amazing.
Oh my God. I was born in the Red Hook projects right after during the war, you know, 1940. And it was a lovely neighborhood. The projects were all mostly Jewish, Italian, Black people. And it was a lovely time. Everybody got along. Then it changed and it became a horrible part. And now you can't afford Red Hook.
I know my son lives in Brooklyn and he keeps moving further and further away because the prices go up.
I mean, Red Hook, you can't get in for under $500,000 to anything decent. And we lived in the Red Hook projects. We had a two-bedroom apartment, and I think my mother paid $21 a month rent. And it was hard because nobody was working back then.
Oh, right.
Well, my father was an Italian immigrant, and they thought he might have been with Mussolini, so they put him under investigation. He wasn't able to work. So my mother had to go to work as a soda jerk in Woolworths while my grandmother watched me. But hard times back in America then. So everybody today, if you're bitching about how hard it is, back to when I was little, it was harder, harder than today. You know, it was hard.
So what made you come to me? Like, because I know you're doing all kinds of stuff. Did you come here to work for CBS? Because you didn't.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I got to a point where, they offered me a position here to buy my company. And so I made the deal. And I was funny. I was supposed to be, before that, I was traveling between London and LA all the time. And I was supposed to be in LA. And then a month before I left, it was like, you've got to be at the head office in New York. And my famous line was that, you know, I'll never live in New York. I passed through New York. And like I said, 30 years later, I'm still here.
Still in New York.
You know, I'm a New Yorker and I've lived in Manhattan. And I've got to tell you that my life in Manhattan was so glorious. At 5 o'clock, the doorman would ring up and say, so-and-so is here for cocktails. And all my friends would come up, 10, 20 people. We'd have cocktails in my apartment and then we'd go out to dinner. It was the most glorious time in New York City. And everybody was in the business, important, famous, or whatever. So everybody brought to dinner table a fabulous story. Here in California, so different. Need I tell you, so different.
Well, you can imagine me coming from, was living in Wimbledon, so it's quiet and nice. And I used to go in the city, obviously, to the office every day. But I come to Manhattan and suddenly I've got sirens through the night and all this stuff happening. And it was like, the size of an apartment compared to what you get anywhere else is like a box. So it was really quite a shock when I first set out.
Did you go to Wimbledon when you used to live there?
Yeah, it's a fun thing because what happens is a lot of people there with day tickets, when they come out, we used to just wander down there and they'd give us our tickets. So we just wander in with their tickets and never pay for it.
Oh, I love that.
It was really nice. So we used to see the evening matches for nothing.
I was a competitive tennis player all through college, actually. And so like that was like a big thing for me.
I'd like to make a comment about your comment about living in a small box. Remember one thing, living in New York is quality, not quantity. Mm-hmm. Because that little box that you live in, I would trade places for a very big house here in Palm Springs. I would trade places in a minute with you. Because when you go down your elevator and out your door, the world is there. everything and anything you want, and the most incredible people in the world are New Yorkers. You have to agree. No, they are. They say New York is the mean and rude and awful. Yes, we are, because that's how we were raised. But if you fall down, we pick you up. We are kind people. New Yorkers have a great. I'm talking about natives, not the jerks that come into Ohio or something. Not the Sex in the City gang. All the girls came there to be, Sex in the City, the movie. I'm talking about the natives who were born there, are the nicest people. I find that California, and I've lived here many years, you don't make friends that you make in New York City. New York, you make dear friends, close friends. Here, it's all cocktail friends or luncheon.
Yeah. Well, the trouble to me with New York really is it's like you don't see any native New Yorkers unless you go to Brooklyn or somewhere, or Bronx. I mean, I'm close to the Bronx, so it's mostly tourists and it's people from everywhere, and some of them are wonderfully rude.
Yeah, but I mean, I know all the old bags in New York.
Yeah.
The old timers that are still. Of course, we lost hundreds of them, but there still are some of my old crew growing up. And it's wonderful because when I go back home, they're like family. When I'm there and I come to California, very few people I call family in California. There's a different temperature, different mood. New York is full of Jews and Italians and Irish and German. It's a wonderful blend of years ago, when everybody came to this country to build America, build the skyscrapers, make the subways. Those people have stories. Young people that are there today, their stories are only about going to lunch and what designer shoes are you wearing, which is really shallow.
Yeah, it's sad right now. I was down actually in Soho this morning, and the roads are empty. I mean, it's really, no one's in there anymore. It's very odd just to drive around. It's where you used to be so used to sitting in bumper to bumper traffic. It's a whole different place than it ever was now, and I think it's getting more like you said, because it's like there's no tourists there. It's only the local people that are really there now.
Yes.
Well, if you get rid of your governor and your mayor, New York may come back. Because I know nothing about them. All of my friends in New York said the mayor and the governor are the worst ever. Nobody likes them. They all want to get rid of them because the mayor and the governor are crazy.
Don't do politics.
No, it's not politics.
I'm not going there.
No, it's not politics. I'm simply reciting what is told me. I didn't even know who the governor was of New York. Could you imagine me not knowing? And
that's got a bridge.
Yes. They named one of the bridges they changed. I can't stand the bridges.
What bridge did they change?
They changed the oh God, now I'm trying to think what the name of the bridge. It's now the Mario Cuomo Bridge. It's up here in Westchester. It was the
I don't give a shit. Let them put Cuomo up. Yeah. But they better not change the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge.
So let's go back. So all the things that you've done, because you've done a lot of things. What are the things that you enjoy doing the most? You're also part of Allied Artists Entertainment. You have MD25. You've done so many things.
The most interesting thing I did was the first tour of India for a band. And that was probably something that, I'll never forget as an experience. I spent a year going in and out. So imagine hitting a country that had never had a real tour of a real band. They didn't know about staging, about anything. So, I mean, it was like I had to learn the language where you go on the stage and say 10 elephants can stand here, 3 elephants stand. I mean, they didn't know about truffles. I mean, a funny story, they wanted to manufacture everything themselves. So I had a truss flown in from America, and it was lost and we couldn't find it anywhere. And then I went out to the airport one day to pick someone up, and there was a painter standing on it using like a ladder. So because they had no idea what it was. But so we had, imagine no arenas, nothing. I mean, so in the end, I used cricket grounds, which were the biggest areas out there, and really built everything from scratch. It was a very exciting time. We went all the way around.
I couldn't go there for a long time because I don't think I could eat the food.
Well, it was surprisingly good. My wife came with me, and she had a suitcase full of cookies, which was.
My sister was married to a documentary movie producer, and he went to Africa to shoot a documentary. And my sister brought a suitcase full of hair bleach because she didn't want anybody to know she wasn't a natural blonde. I never forgot that. I said, Nita, what'd you pack? She said, oh, I got all my bleach. And anyway, listen to this story. It's true. My brother-in-law, and if he was pulling my leg, I doubt it. He said that they ate people, African, with the tribe they went to, because they found a man with all slices in him and herbs stuck in him in the sun, tied up. They were curing him to eat. And I thought, oh my God, if they see my sister's chest, they're going to see Thanksgiving dinner. My sister was quite Zoftic, and I was worried. I said, oh my God, they eat people there? So they are cannibals.
You like working in film better or music better? Because you do both, or do you like them equally, or is the one? Because I know more about your music ventures, but I know you've had a lot of film ventures also.
Yeah, no, it's really, I'm a music publisher at the bottom of everything. No matter what I do, music is always the grounding of it all, because that's where the money is. And no matter what you do in entertainment, music publishing is the bank. That's where, nothing goes without music. Right. I mean, if you're a record performer, you don't earn anything off records, but you do off the publishing of the song.
Yes.
Now, did you ever do anything with Patti LaBelle?
No, nothing at all. I had a song recorded by her called "Isn't It a Shame," which was one of the songs which Randy Edelman wrote, which was one of my writers. So it's no, it's just that the sad thing is, as well, as a lot of young performers out there which don't know about publishing and are losing a lot of money by not knowing about it. I mean, I made, actually, if not recently, but I used to meet kids on tour and everything and just loosely talk about it. And they think, oh, they've registered their song, they're getting all their monies. And most of them didn't know that you have to register as a publisher as well, or for every dollar, you're getting 50 cents. Just something as silly as that by just not registering correctly. And I just think it's sad that more of them don't spend more time seeing what the business is about. Because
what do you think about the hijacking? Music hijacking.
You got to be more specific.
About people stealing the songs and then not paying for them.
Yeah, no, I mean that's it's a really interesting gray area, because there's people out there, musicologists, that can if you want to, they'll take it all back to classical music at the end of the day. I mean, the scary thing is that recently, some of them overturned, is that the arrangements have been, there's been lawsuits about the arrangement of the song rather than notation, which is hard. So, I mean,
hang on. Stevie Nicks said she will not record anymore. She only does concerts because they stole all her music and she didn't make any money. So,
yeah, well,
Nicks, I mean, she's big.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's why you need a good music publisher, to make sure that you do actually get everything that you deserve out there, and to also use them. I mean, you make a lot of the money on actually working the songs, so that you put them into movies and into TV shows and ads, and that's where it's so good owning the song, and it's fun to do that. That's one of the fun parts, is trying to use a song in as many different ways as you can, much like we're doing with Animes X. I mean, we're doing things with the songs that you should never be done with songs, if you like, on some of the better songs. But it's a fun area to be in. It's much more creative than just writing a song.
Our good friend CeCe Peniston, and I'll let Jimmy tell the story because
CeCe Peniston, and you know who CeCe Peniston is, right? That song Finally.
A very good friend, darling friend of ours.
She's a good friend of ours, and she did, and her song is used in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and it's the hit song in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and she didn't get paid anything, and in the soundtrack, it doesn't even list it. It changed the name of the song to something else, and that was the hit song of the whole film. And so she's like going after them now, like all these years, 30 years later.
Imagine
if you need your hand, tell her to give me a call, because I hate that.
I certainly will.
Yeah.
But CeCe, you'll love her. She's a wonderful girl. She's a very talented girl, and she's got new music out that's happening. But they robbed her blind. I mean,
it happens to a lot of people too. Actually, what you said is important. And anybody listening who's a young industry artist, he's sitting. Here's an expert who's been doing it for a long time. I don't know exactly how long, but a long time. So you guys should know that you should do this. How important the publishing, how having the publishing rights and all the stuff for your music is, to make sure you file for it and Google it to find out how to do it, because it is very important, and
You'll get screwed.
And otherwise, you're going to get screwed.
You know, we have had so many famous people of music on our show, and so many of them have gotten nothing. They made millions and millions of dollars selling, and they wound up with nothing. Like, what's his name?
Yeah, Expose.
Expose. She's a darling friend of Jimmy's for 100 years, and my friend also. We're talking about.
They had eight top 10 hits. They used to fill out arenas of 70,000 people.
Millions of.
I got paid like $200 a night.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying again. Is that it's not that difficult to learn, you know, how to protect your songs and how to collect it. It's really simple, but they just don't bother. I mean, most of them out there they go on stage and they don't even realize that every time they sing a song, even on stage, even in a bar, it's pennies, but they earn money if they register it. And that's why you see outside the bars and restaurants those little BMI and ASCAP signs. They all pay a license, and you get part of that license.
Okay, John, if someone wants to contact you for your services, how will they go about that?
Just go to my website. It's being revamped now, but you can go to md25.nyc.
There you go.
And we definitely will tell Cece to contact you, and she will. And if you could help her, it would be wonderful. Because to do what they did was blatant thievery. Outrageous, screw you, we don't care about you. We're going to use your music. And they didn't even change a note of it. I mean, they played it.
No, they played it
exactly as she recorded it, without the vocal.
Everybody, too, listen up, because basically what he's telling you is, like, even though you're a creative, you still have to know how to do the business part of the business, or otherwise you're going to get screwed.
Screwed big time. I mean, they screwed Stevie Nicks, they screwed Johnny Math. Everybody got screwed.
We have a lot of people on the show, and Ron always asks them, did you make any money?
Yes, because
they'll come on and we'll be like, how many records did you sell? And they'll be like, oh, we sold 40 million records. And he's like, did you make any money? And they're like, yeah, not really.
Johnny Mathis, who has sold more albums than Frank Sinatra. Johnny Mathis is half of what it should have been.
Yeah. Oh, he's wonderful, wonderful person.
I love him. I've met him.
Yeah. When I was at United Artists, you know, I met him, and sweet.
Sweet, gentle,
who's your favorite?
Shy, beautiful.
We only have like 3 minutes. Who's your favorite artist that you got to work, or that you've met? Let's say you didn't even work with them. Like, who's your favorite artist?
Well, the favorite one I've met is Lauren Bacall. Because everyone else is working, and she was a real star. That's the difference. You know, it's very interesting.
I knew Lauren for a long time up at the Dakota, and they did a benefit, $1,000 luncheon for her, and I was going to cover it, an interview. When I got there, I didn't have a chair. So I said to Lauren, excuse me, where am I supposed to stand in the hallway? She said, no, sit on my lap. So I sat on Lauren Bacall's lap, and we did the interview.
When I was working with Buddy Morris, I flew to New York to hear songs from a new musical. And I got in the door and they said, Betty wants to sing you the songs. And I said, oh, terrific, but I've got a couple of phone calls to make. And I had no clue. And of course, I kept her waiting half an hour, and I walk in. Of course, Betty is Lauren Bacall sitting next to a pianist. And it was horror. I just felt so bad that I kept Laura, because she was a real star.
Yeah, but I'm so surprised she didn't say, what the fuck kept you so long?
I'm not saying she didn't.
Lauren or Betty Bacall had him out. Lauren knocked them back. She could drink. And we had the best fun with her at Peter Allen's birthday party. There was a crowd of gay guys in the room. And in the middle, there was this woman who was being held up by all the gay guys because she was loaded. And it was horrible. And I loved her. She was just one of the most upfront broads. She was real. She was honest.
Oh, absolutely. There's a couple of them out there which are wonderful.
Yeah, well, Lauren Bacall, Betty Davis, I had the pleasure. Quite a few of those old timers.
Yeah.
They were true.
So you guys, first of all, you can follow John on Twitter. He doesn't have a very big following, so let's see if we can get some follow him. He's on Twitter, though. It's at John KOHVM 1. Again, his website is md25.nyc, and you can contact me, and I can get me in touch with you.
Anyone out there in trouble who's on our show, we're going to send John. So you're in trouble musically, we're sending you to John, and let John help. Maybe he could straighten it out and get you some bucks.
And also, we want to make sure everybody remembers that February 26th, Anime's X's cover of Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles is coming out. Did somebody did it, right? It's the Beatles.
Of course the Beatles did
it. Now the other thing is if for the foundation, the Let Me Help Inc.org, which is a great foundation of Johnny's, and we're putting on a whole lot of new shows. So if they keep checking in on that website, which is letmehelpinc.org, which is really terrific, you'll see some really good streaming shows.
Absolutely.
Strawberry Fields is right in front of the Dakota, where Lauren Bacall lived, Peter Allen lived, and John Lennon lived. And they did Strawberry Fields in honor of John Lennon because he was executed right around the corner from the Dakota. So that's what Strawberry Fields is.
I thought the song came out before he died.
No. The song came out after he died as a tribute to his death. It was an empty field, and they planted. I've been there a million times.
Is that right, John?
Yes.
I'm not sure of the timing, but he's quite right. That's the field right there in the park.
I was there covering it when they first did the strawberries. Yeah. And I said, where are the strawberries? I don't see strawberries. There weren't any strawberries. I guess everybody was picking them. But I go there quite a lot at Central Park. When I die, I'm going to throw my ashes in the Batista Fountain area. That's where I want to be. In the middle of New York, the fountain.
So you guys follow, check out letmehelpinc.org, md25.nyc. Follow John. It's JohnVM1 on Twitter. We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. John, we want to thank you for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
And
so nice, John. So nice.
And everybody have a great weekend. We want to thank all our guests, our super group, Halloween Jack, Velasco, and Morgan Fairchild. We had a great show. We enjoyed it, and we'll see everybody next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks, John.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes? Download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.